In World War II, it was pretty tense, especially in the months leading up to D-Day. Everybody knew it was coming, just not when. And you have to understand there were probably 3 to 4 million members of the military in Great Britain, all jammed all over the place, training for fighting, training for war, not knowing when their last day is going to be, and they needed some kind of release. And they hit upon this idea of a football game between Canadian forces and American forces. 6 weeks later, the T-Bowl came into existence. On game day, there's between 30 and 32,000 people jammed into the stadium. A squadron of Spitfires circling overhead to protect it from German bombing raids. It was an obvious target in the middle of London. It was an Olympic-sized stadium filled with British citizens wondering exactly what this sport the Americans and Canadians called football was, and a lot of service people, of course, rooting on for both sides. They're going hammer and tongs, half played under American rules with American officials, half played under Canadian rules with Canadian officials. Both sides had professional players on it, and the Canadians, I think, had the edge in that and were carrying on. The games coming up could have gone either way. Major Denny Whitaker was Hamilton Tigers quarterback before the war, highly regarded for his broken field running, deadly aim with a football, grabs the ball as QB and does a 60-yard run, 32,000 people watching this guy tearing down the field, doing his broken field running as if he was being shot at, and finally into the end zone, touchdown, game over, Canadians win, and 16-6 final score. As they say, the crowds went wild, and subsequently for days, you know, we're number one, Canadians waltzing around London. And so the Americans, of course, weren't going to take this lying down. So sure enough, a rematch a month and a bit later, which the Americans gained a resounding victory under the same set of rules. So tied 1-1, there was going to be a third match, but a little episode called D-Day intervened. And so the series ended tied 1 game each, Canada and United States.